Let's talk gold, everyone. Northern Dynasty Minerals, NDM.TO on the Toronto Stock Exchange, and NAK on the New York Stock Exchange. This is a mining company. A lot of people, especially I remember myself included in my early years, were very excited about this project, the Pebble project, which of course is the most significant undeveloped copper and gold resource in the world, which is located in Alaska. Many people who are into mining say that this resource is so big and so significant that it has to be developed, right? There's just no way the US lets this resource just sit there. Here are some numbers and statistics for you guys to sort of see what they have. 6.5 billion tons of measured and indicated, 4.5 billion tons of inferred. You're talking about copper, you're talking about gold, silver, and a few other metals there, and Pebble, how it compares with other copper and gold resources. So it's a big project, right? Very big project, has quite the hefty price tag as well for the capex to get the project going. But of course, the big story has been the environmental side of things, right? It's just this mine, the fisheries, the local fisheries there, they've been saying that the tailings for this mine will contaminate the water and affect the fish population. And it's sort of been the standoff now, right? Between Pebble, people who support Pebble and doing their due diligence, saying that the environmental work is being done and they're taking all precautions to ensure that the environmental impact is lessened, whereas other people who are saying that, we want to protect the land, we don't want to ruin the fisheries, all that kind of stuff. Just typical things that we always hear about when it comes to mining, and that's this big battle between the environment and economics, I suppose. But recently, there was a veto for the proposed veto of Pebble, but Alaska and 13 other states strongly opposed it. The Transportation and Infrastructure Committee report was, slightly negative as well for the company. So there's still work to be done, when it comes to the politics side of things and the environmental side of things. However, let's not forget that there has been a royalty, right? Like there's a company that gave 12 million, first for royalty investment, and also they are expecting 5 more tranches, right? If fully committed, to a total of $60 million in royalty investment. So there are people who are investing money in this project because they do see it coming into production down the road, not anytime soon perhaps, but I think that's interesting to know that there's money like that that's already sort of betting on a set project to come into production. Recently, they've redone their PEA, released it for 2022, maintains strong economic fundamentals with the royalty financing as well. Here are the numbers for you to compare with the 2021 PEA versus the 2022 PEA as well. And the case includes major infrastructure provided and also long-term copper prices of $3.50 per pound, gold at $1,600 per ounce, and silver at $22 an ounce, with a net present value calculating using a 7% discount rate, with a mine life, I believe, it doesn't show here in this number here, a 20-year, a 20-year base case. That's what they say at the bottom there. In terms of the technicals, I find it quite interesting. If you followed my previous technical reports on NDM or NAK, we've been talking about this major support area at 31, 32 cent zone. We bounced above it in July, and then just recently in September, and pretty much all through fall, we've just been ranging, coiling, as I like to call it. When you see a large range like this, especially at a significant support level, it's indicating that selling pressure is now exhausting. And, we should be looking for a breakout. And we actually did get that breakout above our 34.5 cent zone. And currently prices are retesting that zone. I mean, you can even take it up to 35 cents. But again, remember, none of these areas are just one price. It's usually a zone, and you can use a very fancy trick And that is changing your chart to a line chart just to see the areas that you can draw out for your support and resistance zones. A bit of a secret, but it's a very, very nice tool to use. So I like this breakout on NDM. We had this breakout, we had to move up to 37.5 cents. You can clearly see now we are actually pulling back, but this is typical breakout and retest price action. So we want to see Northern Dynasty stay above this 34.5 cent zone, because if it does so, we can see a higher low taking prices up to 40 cents. And I have a big resistance zone here at around the 43.5 cent zone. But we have to see if buyers will step in. Currently, with this wick that we are seeing right at the 34.5 cent zone, you are seeing signs of buying, but we have a lot of time before this daily candle closes. If we take a quick look at gold and silver, you know, the gold charts breaking out, I think that had a lot to do with Northern Dynasty and other junior miners and miners breaking out of their ranges. And perhaps gold is due for a bit of a pullback to retest 1720 before it continues higher. Copper as well, you know, we had a breakout in copper, a very, very strong breakout. And I think we are now just pulling back to retest about 367, let's call that number here, around that zone. And this is copper cash CFD, but the technicals look the same, where we've had these major breakouts. We are now potentially pulling back to do a retest. And of course, a lot depends on if this retest will be held or if we fail it, which then causes a false breakout on a lot of these miners. And a lot of that things will have to do with, you know, the US dollar chart. If the dollar does gain momentum due to, say, the market now believing that the Fed is going to go back hawkish, or perhaps something geopolitics, right, where money runs into the dollar because, you know, for safety, right, you know, a risk-off movement, the dollar being the reserve currency and safe haven. So currently, I don't want to say we're in like no man's land, but we are in retest mode for gold and for copper and potentially gold. And we are very much at retest zone for NDM. So I'm going to be following this daily candle, especially at this major zone here, because we do have a breakout. We do have the retest. And unfortunately, you know, maybe the fundamentals of the company, that's the thing that's lacking. Like, we don't really have that catalyst which can help drive prices higher. But as long as we see a rebound in gold and copper, I think we will have a nice follow through of Northern Dynasty Minerals as it retests this major support zone here. So let me know what you guys think about the charts here of Northern Dynasty, gold and copper. Do you think we have a successful retest on NDM.to, or do you think we fail it and continue to range above that 32 cent zone? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up and follow us. And I'll catch you guys all in the next chart attack video.